As you know, the Meat Eater Live Tour is on April 23rd through May 5th. Chances are in a town near you. What you may not know is you can win tickets to each of these events just by going to a backcountry hunters and anglers pint night. There's going to be a pint night in each of these towns: San Diego, Salt Lake City, Tempe, Anaheim, Boise, Sacramento, Missoula, Portland, Tacoma, where you can compete in Meat Eater trivia and win not only tickets to the show, but a chance to be on stage with all of us. So get your butt to a pint night, and we'll see you on stage.
What's up, y'all? I'm KC.
And I'm Tyler, and this is another Big Buck Breakdown from the Element Podcast.
Brought to you by Exodus Trail Cameras.
So right now on the phone, we've got Alex Comstock. He's been on before. He has done the long form and given us some great information there. This guy is an analytical, perfectionist when it comes to deer hunting, and he proves that again with another Big Buck Breakdown. Alex, you did it in North Dakota.
Yeah, I was able to make it happen on the last day of my hunt.
Oh, man.
This cool, man. That is cool. So... not to bring up any bad memories, but does this story stem from any of the Kobe stuff?
No, it doesn't really.
Separate?
No.
Okay. Cool.
Yeah.
Cool. Well, tell us the story, man. How did it go down? You said it was like a last day deal, huh?
Yeah, it was. So we were out there. I got out to North Dakota. I'd been out a couple times during the summer, just getting stuff prepped and all that good stuff, and getting cameras up and checking them. And got out there the week of opener, Friday the 4th, September 4th was opening day. And I got out there that Wednesday to kind of do some final tune-ups, hanging stands, checking cameras, all that good stuff. Was pretty much ready to go by Thursday afternoon. And then started the hunt, and opening night was pretty eventful. We had 6 guys in camp. Opening night, I had an encounter with the shooter that I have pictures of all summer. He never got closer than probably 150 yards. So it was a good observation hunt, because I watched him come out of this bedding area where I kind of suspected he was. And then another guy in camp missed a big one that night. So things started off pretty good. And then the rest of the hunt for me was fairly slow as far as mature bucks. Day 2, the guy that missed the buck opening night actually was able to shoot the same buck the second night of the season.
Nice.
Wow.
Yeah, so he was able to get 2 chances at him.
Same stand?
Yeah, same stand, yeah.
Golly.
Whoa. That's that beauty of early season, huh?
Yeah, that was pretty cool. That buck we had called Kobe Jr., and we had him in daylight almost every day since the end of July. So we kind of figured that we were going to have a good chance at that buck.
Earlier there, Alex mentioned the use of trail cameras and how really that helped them get on that big buck ever since July. And I know that Alex has been up there in NoDa hanging some Exodus trail cameras to get on these big bucks. Guys, there really is not a better trail camera on the market out there if you're serious about trying to get good video and good pictures of big bucks. We've used them off season, all season, in season to get pictures of big hardhorn bucks, big velvet bucks, all around. So go check out Exodus trail cameras at ExodusOutdoorGear.com.
Yeah, the next few days kind of went by. Saw a lot of deer. We would check cameras after hunting, and we were, the night before a big buck would have came through an hour after light, stuff like that. And then the last day of the hunt, so Monday was the last day of the hunt, and we had a big cold front roll through overnight. So Sunday, we were hunting. Sunday, it was starting to get cooler, but it was still in the mid 70s. And then Monday morning, it got down to, when I woke up, it was probably 37, 38 degrees. It was pretty cool. And knowing that, we actually elected to go on a morning hunt, which typically I don't do out in North Dakota this time of year. I've tried it, and it just seems to be that, you're always just messing stuff up on the way in, and it's just difficult to pull off. But my buddy had hung a new set the night before, and he had seen 30 to 40 deer, including a couple 150 plus type of bucks. And so then we were like, my cousin from Nebraska was up, and so we told Garrett just to leave that stand and we would hunt it because he was headed out of town. So I was like, I'm going to hunt it the next morning. So to pull it off, it was about 3/4 of a mile walk, and it was only probably 50 yards off a bean field. Me and my cousin who was filming me got up at about 3 a.m. We're able to get out of camp. I mean, we probably didn't get to bed the night before till 11 or 12, and got out there and it was all set up about probably a solid hour to hour and a half before first light. And first light was at 6:20. So as soon as it started getting light out, we could just see shadows out in the bean field, and it was like, oh boy, they're working their way towards us. And once they got about light enough out, there was a whole pile of deer out there, and we had deer coming from the beans back to bed. We were in the timber. It's a pretty hefty chunk of timber. The beans actually is private, and the timber is public, and so we need them to. That's why we're off the field too, because we couldn't hunt over the beans or anything.
Right.
So they're working their way back. We had small bucks. We probably had 8 to 10 deer within 10 to 15 yards of us in the first half hour. And then about 7, I looked to my right, and here's this nice looking 8-pointer in velvet. I kind of was faced with a little bit of a decision because we had 2 really big bucks out in the field. One was probably right around 160, and they were working their way towards me, but they were still probably 150 to 200 yards out in the bean field.
This year, guys, Cobra Archery is helping us out, bring these big buck breakdowns to you. We've had Jake Major on the podcast doing a big buck breakdown. He's a big buck killer, and he's also a great guy. He's got a heart of gold. Jake would do anything for you, and he is an awesome engineer when it comes to this stuff. I have been using Cobra Archery releases for 12 years plus, maybe even 15 years. I can't remember shooting a bow without shooting a Cobra Archery. My dad started me on them, and the legacy has just carried on. So I would definitely highly suggest looking at a new release if you're in the market for it. Go check out CobraArchery.com.
And so this buck was at 30 yards. He wasn't giving me a shot at the moment, so kind of was that split second, like, should I shoot this deer or risk it for the bigger deer coming in? And then he ended up hitting a scrape and stuff and getting his head up in the licking branches. And I just couldn't pass up the opportunity with that type of hunt and the way it played out. And I sent an arrow and let her rip, and perfect shot. And about 2 or 3 minutes after I shot him, a coyote came through and cleared out the field. So it ended up being the right call.
Nice. Man.
Yeah.
That'll make you feel good on your instincts. So. Dude,
yeah, exactly.
Yeah, and that was an awesome recovery. That deer died in the creek there?
Yeah, so it was really weird because, I put a perfect shot on him in the first 50 yards. The blood trail was following the Yellow Brick Road, and then all of a sudden it just stopped. There was no blood. And we were like, what the heck? And then, we walked towards the creek, and he went another 100 yards and was laying right in the middle of the creek, which was pretty cool.
Yeah, that's cool, man. That's awesome. That it made for some cool shots. I think we talked about that, off air, or cool pics, but man, it seemed like North Dakota was on fire this early season. You had great success. Your camp did good. I saw just all over social media, North Dakota did well. Was there something about that region that really made hunting good this year?
Yeah, I'd say the weather. It was probably the best weather we've had for an opening weekend out there that I can remember.
Yeah.
Even the days before the actual cold front hit, it was still mid 70s, which I've hunted out there that time of year when it's 9500 degrees, So it definitely, I think the weather was a big key. We had a lot of, I think first day, second day it was south winds. Then from there it switched to northwest winds, and it seemed like it was pretty good.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm. Man, that's cool, man. Yeah, I was in Nebraska while everybody was slaying deer up in North Dakota. So I picked the wrong end state, or whatever. But
yeah.
For me, same thing. Weather was really great, but for me, the deer were in the corn heavy.
Okay.
Is there corn up there where you're at much, or is it mostly beans and other things?
Yeah, there's quite a bit of corn, but it seemed, there was a couple of spots we had where a cornfield would butt up to a wheat field or something, and they'd be coming out of the corn. But other than that, it seemed like the bean field seemed like the food source to be over or be near.
Gotcha.
Yeah. But so now in South Dakota, Is that the state where you can't actually shoot? Or I'm sorry, North Dakota rather. Is that the state where you can't shoot deer in standing crops, or is there something like that, like a regulation like that?
So in North Dakota, you can legally hunt non-posted property. But so it doesn't have, if it's not posted, it's free to hunt. But you can't shoot a deer, hunt over non-posted crops, standing crops.
Ah, okay, gotcha.
Yeah,
gotcha.
So if you want to to hunt non-posted, you got to try to get into buffer strips or little pieces of timber or cut wheat fields or stuff like that.
Yeah. Cool.
Yeah.
Makes sense.
Well, man, y'all had a killer preseason out there, dude, and can't wait to see what else you get done this season. Is it all Minnesota for you from here on out?
I'll do Minnesota, and then I've got Wisconsin too, and then I'll be
Nice.
hunting Nebraska at some point as well.
Oh,
So,
you're just covering all that upper Midwest, dude.
yeah. So we'll
cool.
see. It'll all kind of play out on how tags are or are not filled. But that's the kind of the plan right now.
Cool, man. Well, congrats on that, dude. Way to start your season out. You've got us hyped, so now we got to go to Colorado and try to make something happen. So hopefully we can fill the freezer a little bit. But man, appreciate you coming on. I guess that video is going to be coming out soon, right? So what's the best place for somebody to go see that?
Yeah, the video will be coming out here in the next week. So the best place would just be go to the YouTube, type in Whitetail DNA, and it'll be there. So
Cool.
we'll have 2 videos coming out here in the next week or so. So
Awesome, dude. Well, that sounds good. Everybody go check those out. And thanks again, Alex. Congrats on everything, man.
thank you. I appreciate it.
Man, what an awesome story about a big buck. Guys, we want to say a big thanks to Exodus Trail Cameras and Cobra Archery for being a part of this big buck breakdown.
For sure, man. And also, if you want to check out what we do on a daily basis, maybe even see some of these big bucks, go to Instagram and follow us at The Element Wild. And then also subscribe on YouTube to keep up with what we're doing throughout the season. And subscribe on the podcast. And remember, this is your element.
Living it.
I'll swim across and meet you on the other side. I'm not sure why we even have to fight. We grew up in the same situation. The river between us caused a lot of frustration. Brothers, let's forgive and forget.
As you know, the Meat Eater Live Tour is on April 23rd through May 5th. Chances are in a town near you. What you may not know is you can win tickets to each of these events just by going to a backcountry hunters and anglers pint night. There's going to be a pint night in each of these towns: San Diego, Salt Lake City, Tempe, Anaheim, Boise, Sacramento, Missoula, Portland, Tacoma, where you can compete in Meat Eater trivia and win not only tickets to the show, but a chance to be on stage with all of us. So get your butt to a pint night, and we'll see you on stage.